Oh, okay.
Currently, I'm just driving away from another board meeting for my Rotary Club. So when I get home, I'll be more available but I'll be listening in.
Amy's with us. We have 6 now.
Okay, so we can get started.
Well, drive safe, Nancy.
So I guess we will start since we have a quorum and everyone can join us as they come in. Good evening. Thank you for participating in our remote regular monthly meeting of the Parks Advisory Board. We will do our best to facilitate a smooth meeting and public participation and ask that everyone be patient as we navigate this electronic platform. We have 2 formats for participation, the Zoom web application as well as teleconference. Before we begin, I want to review some guidelines and general instructions for the meeting. Please silence your other communication device since this will ensure that we're not hearing any feedback or causing interruption during the meeting. During the meeting, all participants on Zoom, except for board members and county staff, will be placed on mute by the host. That means you will not be able to mute or unmute your lines manually. The chair will announce opportunities for the public to speak, which are included on the meeting agenda. For those on Zoom, if you would like to make a public comment, please click on the raise hand feature to signal that you would like to comment. The sound will be unmuted and the internet participant should announce their first and last names before speaking. The participant will be called upon to speak at the appropriate time. For those calling in using the phone line only, if you would like to make public comment, please dial *9 on your keypad to signal that you would like to comment. The last 4 digits of the call-in number will be announced and call-in participants should announce their first and last names before speaking. The participant will be called upon to speak at the appropriate time. Please note you can hang up or leave the Zoom meeting anytime. Decorum, please adhere to the speaker time limit. Please treat others with courtesy and civility and respect the public meeting process. Rules prohibiting the use of signs or posters remain in effect for video participation. Profanity, discriminatory comments, or obscene gestures is prohibited. Disorderly, unruly, or aggressive behavior that infringes upon the rights of others or disrupts the good working order of the meeting is also prohibited. Any violation of the above rules can result in your mic being muted, your video feed shut off, or you being dropped from the phone or Zoom meeting lines. Thank you for listening to these instructions, and now we will proceed with the regular agenda. Okay, welcome. I'm Joanne Clark, the chair of the Parks Board Advisory Committee this year, and I'd like the rest of the committee to introduce themselves and what part of Kitsap they're from.
Sean Pearson from Central Kitsap.
Lisa Hurt from North Kitsap.
Larry Walker, South Kitsap.
Nancy Whitaker, Central Kitsap.
Amy Lawrence from Central Kitsap.
Does that conclude all the board members? Okay, now starting with Alex, the staff.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. I'm Alex Wisniewski, Parks Director. Let's see. Go ahead.
Chuck Cazzetto, Public Relations and Communications Coordinator for the Park District. I'll pass the baton to Aaron.
Sorry, Chuck, but thank you. Aaron Nix, Parks Planner. Dee, I'll pass it on to you.
Thank you, Aaron. Good evening, everyone. Dee Tuttle here.
There's some weird feedback.
I heard that too. Sierra, you want to go next?
Sure. Hi, I'm Sierra. I'm a natural resources coordinator with Kitsap Parks, and I live in Central Kitsap.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Brian Hoschel, Kitsap County Parks and South Kitsap resident.
That's everyone, Joanne. Nope, you're muted.
Okay, I'm unmuted. We need to have the adoption of the September 28th meeting minutes. Is there any changes or corrections?
I noticed that I wasn't here, but I did make the adjournment message, so I think maybe I was here.
Oh. John Pearson moved for the approval. So we just have the wrong name.
Well, no, it says, it doesn't say I was at the meeting.
You moved for approval of the August 17th meeting. So you had
Right,
almost.
no, what I'm saying is that I'm not in attendance for that meeting.
Okay,
We'll make the correction.
Okay.
okay, great. Thank you. Any other corrections or additions? Seeing none, I'll need a motion to adopt the minutes as written.
So moved.
Larry Walker. Is there a second? Lisa Hurt.
Yep.
Thank you. Thank you. Now is the time for public comment. And there's a hand raised. Ready? Thank you. Kim Greenwood. Welcome.
Thank you. My name's Kim Greenwood. I'm a resident of North Kitsap, and I am involved, if many of you have hopefully all heard about the timber rights purchase up at Port Gamble Forest Heritage Park. I'm with a nonprofit, our Forest Fund, and we've been raising money for this. And we just wanted to share with everyone that the fundraising campaign is going very well. It's a $500,000 goal to raise by the end of October. There's an 8 times match, and I just got an update a little earlier today that all funds being raised, our Forest Fund for Terra and their GoFundMe site is up to $382,000. And I think that is probably a little low because I know our Forest Fund has some more things that haven't, I didn't see them show up on our balance yet. So we're doing very well. And we're super excited and we're confident we're going to meet that 500,000.
That is so awesome. Thank you for all your hard work.
Yeah, thanks.
Awesome. Okay, next, Joe Libersher.
Okay. Good evening, Joe Lubisher, North Kitsap Heritage Park Steward. 3 items. The first one, a request to get the agenda posted in a timely manner, hopefully at least the day before. And I'm wondering if we can't include the Zoom link and the telephone numbers for the telephone conference rather than just the sync. It appears right now you can only get to this through the through a click here link on the web page. So I think those would be useful. Item number 2, evidently this is in regard to the STO. There's a contract change called a minor change for the design build project for the ABD segments in Port Gamble. And it sounds from that minor change that there's been a decision made or close to a decision made to drop the AB segments that were responsible for the huge cost increase. So was hoping we get a clarification on that. My third thing was the silt fence. I think it'd be timely to give you an update on that. This is the 1/4 mile long continuous plastic silt fence at North Kitsap Heritage Park that was installed by Pulte Homes as part of the Arborwood project just about a year ago, that has been blocking amphibian migration, small mammal movements. And we've kind of run into a log jam. This is not a simple problem to resolve at this point. In terms of agencies, parks, DCD, Pulte Homes, ecology are kind of pointing fingers at each other. Oh, you're responsible and it's your decision. And it all seems to hang on the fact that people are attending to the letter of the law in the stormwater rules, that such that ecology says that an acceptable BMP, a best management practice, is a long, continuous, non-biodegradable silt fence. And so they're saying, well, this was approved. Nobody has to change it. It was pointed out to Pulte Homes that they could ask for a change in BMPs. They have not done so. DCD has said that if they did, DCD probably couldn't get to it for a year to approve it anyway. So they're following this very tight letter of the law and ignoring the intent of the law, which says that if a BMP like this silt fence is causing problems, they're supposed to correct it. That's not happening. And so we're continuing to look for, I should say I'm talking about different members of the primarily Kingston community, are still trying to find some avenues that we can address this problem with. It may require some legislative work, not sure at this point, but it is an issue that other parks are going to have to deal with. We're looking at miles of STO construction. We're looking at the education project up at Port Gamble. And it's highly likely that there's going to be more of this kind of BMP. They're going to have to be dealt with. So it's still ongoing. It's certainly a difficult situation that we're trying to deal with. I can say that there was someone took direct action at the silt fence and cut some windows in it that represented about 5% of its length. And that at least has gotten the attention of DCD and Pulte Homes. I don't think we'd even be talking to or they wouldn't be talking to the community if that hadn't happened. So unfortunate, but effective. Pulte did take down a small part of the fence, about, I think it was 7%, about 100 feet, where the ground sloped fairly steeply upward, clearly a place there never should have been a silt fence to begin with. So that's the current status, and the outlook is, not favorable at the moment. So thank you.
Thank you. Beverly Parsons.
Thanks, everybody. I'm Beverly Parsons from Hansville. First of all, Kim, I have to say I'm so excited to hear all the money you've been raising. That's fantastic. And my comments really tonight are regarding the Port Gamble Forest Heritage Plan, master plan or framework, and the approval process. First of all, I just want to acknowledge the incredible work that everybody's done on that plan. I think it's just a excellent document for having discussion and providing a focal point for public engagement. And then it can be helpful as we move toward the Kitsap County Comprehensive Plan and the PROS plan. And I'm glad that the conversations have been extended well beyond, it started out in February when it was released. And I think there's been a lot of great learning going on and hearing different points of view. So I just wanted to be sure tonight that the that the Parks Advisory Board was aware of two actions that on the part of the Kitsap Environmental Council that have just happened. Now, you might remember that back in August, we had engaged an environmental lawyer to make clear the legal responsibility of the county to conduct a non-programmatic SEPA review. And, we were very pleased that the county agreed to do that. They completed a checklist in early September, passed it on to the SEPA officer to determine if the master plan would have a significant environmental impact. Now, we found out a couple weeks ago that the SEPA determination was of non-significant impact. But when we reviewed the checklist, we found it to be very inadequate. And so we had passed on comments just this past Monday. That was the last day for comments. So you might not have seen those yet, but I do hope that you'll review those and really take seriously the importance of a well-done SEPA review. Then just yesterday, our lawyer sent a letter to the Parks Advisory Committee, our board, and to Alex and the Board of Commissioners about another issue. And that is one that I'm especially concerned about. It's the improper process of approval of that plan. And the letter shows that shows why the county's current plan to require only a simple Board of Commissioners vote is actually illegal. And so I want you to just be sure, if you haven't had a chance to see that letter yet, that you'll look closely at that, of the two options that would be legal process. One that involves strict adherence to the type 3 land use approval process in the county code. And the other is tying it in with the decisions related to the Growth Management Act. And personally, I think if we could somehow tie these decisions about a park, especially a park as big as Port Gamble, to the work that's going on with the comprehensive plan, that we could really get some great conversations going to balance out how we think about our parks alongside issues of a growing population, the changing environment, changing economic conditions. So we don't just treat parks as over there by themselves, but to really bring the wholeness of our county together around these complex issues. So I just would direct your attention to those documents. I think they help me a lot to sort of see how we could think more clearly about this and how we can engage with one another to attend to those matters. So thank you for all you're doing, and I appreciate the time to comment here.
And thank you. Carol Price.
Good evening. I hate to follow that up. I am just bringing up the two medical emergencies that occurred the week of October 9th at Port Gamble Forest. Both involved mountain bikers. That makes 3 serious incidences involving mountain bikers since 2021. I would like to know how these 3 men are doing today. Could we please get an update? And are we normalizing accidents in this park because of mountain bikes? The response in the newspaper was simply that mountain bikers need to take mountain biking as their own responsibility. If they're going to take the risk, then they get to suffer the consequences, I guess, when they have an accident. I find this a little odd. One other comment, my request for the future of Port Gamble Forest and its environment would be to limit mountain biking to the ride park, the logging roads, and the STO, the 3 trails in the ranger area, and the Hood Trail. While Hood is designated as multi-use, it is not useful as a pedestrian or equestrian trail. All other single track dirt paths would then be for pedestrians and equestrian usage only. Perhaps this would provide some opportunity for the recovery of animal and plant habitat. Thanks.
Thank you. Is there any other public comment that I can't see anyone on there? Seeing none? Is there anyone on the phone lines that I can't see? And can anybody else hear the audio? Looks like Aaron lost the audio. If you can hear the audio, raise your hand.
I can hear it.
Okay. Looks like it's a isolated incident. Okay, so there we go. Thank you for all your comments and your concerns and all of your hard work in all the parks that you guys are associated with. We do appreciate that. And now we're going on with a special presentation on Coulter Creek Master Plan by Aaron Nix. But I think he's the one who just lost us. So. Aaron, can you hear us? Oh, no.
Let me see if I can chat with him here.
He had a little thing up here that said he lost audio, but I don't know if he's gotten it back.
Worst case, we could try and reverse. If you would entertain a flip-flop to the agenda. I'm not getting a response back from Aaron.
Alex,
Aaron, are you there?
are you there?
Okay.
Can you guys?
We can hear you. It sounds a little choppy.
Okay. Let me put it to my ear.
Much better.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
We can hear you now.
Yep. So I take it you gave it to me. I'm going to share my screen. I want to pull up a couple documents. Just give me a second here.
Okay.
Hello? Are you seeing that?
Yep.
Okay, great.
Aaron, we're seeing, Aaron, real quick, we're seeing the agenda. Is that what you're trying to show us?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was going to
Just
update on the meeting, what we went through.
okay. Just want to make sure.
Audio issues. So we held our kickoff meeting for the Creek Heritage Park Master Plan really well, just as far as 30+ people there.
I can't hear Aaron.
Can you not hear me?
You're breaking bad, Aaron.
Is that better?
Yeah.
That is much
Yes.
better.
Okay, is that better?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Sorry, guys. So we had our kickoff meeting on Monday for the Coulter Creek Heritage Park. I've put the agenda up here so that folks could kind of see what we did. Joanne was gracious enough to show up and offer some great comments. I don't know if you guys heard, we had about 30+ people there actually physically in the room. And then online, I think we had 40, 45 people. So 70 folks turning out is awesome, at least based on my experience. So that's good. My hope is that we get more as we move forward with things. What to do with this initial meeting was kind of introduce myself, but also kind of go over the past planning that has gone on out there, which is significant. There's a forest stewardship plan. There's also a resource plan. I'm going to try to switch to a map. Can you guys see that map?
Not yet.
Aaron, you might need to stop sharing and then reshare to the new, to the map.
Okay. Got it. Here we go. Okay. You guys seen that?
I can see that.
Okay. Perfect. So like I mentioned, there was a lot of planning work that went on before. One of the couple things, at least with regard to this Coulter Creek property, which is in South Kitsap area, is the sensitivity of this area. There's been a lot of work, at least from a fisheries perspective, on this watershed, specifically Coulter Creek as well as Rocky Creek. What they found is that although Chinook do not spawn in these systems, they utilize these systems extensively for foraging and growing up. So what we're trying to do, and something that's a little bit unique, but I think it's awesome, is within our parks, we are trying to designate areas accordingly based on the color schemes that you see here. There are areas obviously that are sensitive, that need to be protected. Those are really identified in green here. Those are basically no touch areas, meant to be left alone in order to protect water quality and other things. You notice the stream corridors are highlighted in that, which is good. That's the associated buffer with those systems. In addition, and it's very difficult to see from this map, there's a brown shades and a yellow shade. One of them, the browner shade, is conservation, which we talk about doing kind of a low impact type of hiking, very small trail sections in order to allow people to at least see components of nature that's really interesting, but to not leave a significant impact that would occur with more active types of recreation. So there's the areas identified there as well with regard to other types of uses. If folks don't know this, I'm telling you, we've acquired the Calvinwood property, and I would point, but it's actually the lighter pink area with the two blue blotches. Very cool property. I don't know if folks have had a chance to go out there, but it was an old camp. It's set in a very beautiful setting in the sense that you're right next to these wetland systems. And it's been in existence for a while. So we have some planning to do with regard to what we're going to do with that facility. In addition, we also acquired the Square Lake piece, which is way to the right on your map there, from the state. So all of those properties, including the other ones that were acquired, are going to be part of this master planning process and what we're doing. Obviously, we're going to want to engage, and I'm going to have to do a new share. I'm sorry. All right. Obviously, there's groups that are interested in this. Hopefully, you guys are seeing that. These are kind of some of the interest groups that we at least have identified. Obviously, really most important, local citizens and their interests. These people, at least in the original planning effort, were identified, but very open to other folks that want to engage. County representatives, obviously other governmental interests, the tribe for sure. So those were kind of the groups that we're focusing. Really, our timeline in order to do this, and I know Alex is going to talk a little bit later about our pros plan. Our intent is to go through this process, develop an ad hoc kind of a public committee to look at amenities as well as entryways into the park. Develop some plans for that as far as just identifying those locations. Then we will obviously have some more public interaction, getting it out for folks to discuss. And if there are specific issues, and we may just focus whatever groups that come forward. We can do focus group types of work as well with regard to folks and their interests once we kind of have a draft together. With the intent being, we will go for public comment, at least through the SEPA process and those types of things, towards the latter part of 2023, with hopeful adoption or approval by the Board of Commissioners in November, October timeframe. So that was a really quick overview of the project that we have here, of the master plan that we're trying to put together. I would welcome any questions or thoughts as we move forward with this. So I will hush up here for a second.
Hey, Aaron, I just had a comment that the stakeholder focus groups is evolving. I would like to add KEC to the list as well, and have some thoughts on others.
Of course, yes, absolutely. This was actually taken from the previous report, so.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah, this was the actual groups that were identified within that piece. So KEC, absolutely.
Okay.
I should have
Okay.
put them on
So
there anyways.
need some updating, but a good starting point.
I had a question.
Absolutely. Okay.
I had a question. So I'm curious, from the map that you just showed us, there wasn't really much space on that map for active recreation. So I'm looking at your list, which is obviously an old list, but I saw the Viking Coalition on there and different things like disc golf, and like, will there even be enough space for those things to go on here with this little bit of red? I mean, you don't want that in conservation, and you certainly don't want that in sensitive no-touch zones. So I'm curious, like, where that could even happen.
Sure, I'll go ahead. So at least what if you look at the map, what's been identified, understanding that this is an old map, this was the last version that I saw that they were working on. I have subsequently went out there myself, and I know other folks have. There are some areas that they at least have been identified as such, and we need to kind of go back and really, and that's part of this planning process, is I want a better feel with boots on the ground, kind of what's going on out there. I have spent a lot of time out there, but there may be some opportunities. At least on this map, what they're showing right here, the red area to the left is the airport that currently exists out there. Casey and Patton in that group. The other pink area here is the Calvinwood area, more of an active piece. I really wish that these colors were better, but they're not. So I can assure you, and I will share it with you once I get done with this. In fact, I'll share this with the entire committee. I'm gonna clean up the map, and then I think we'll have a better feel of where we could potentially locate things. Yes, I understand there's a lot of interest, and a lot of different folks want to do that. We're gonna have to make that determination, and I think this is gonna kind of really be discussed in the pros plan as well as future types of things. What are low impact types of activities, those types of things. So walking is one. I know that there was a lot of discussion amongst that technical committee group that happened there, and I'm learning more. So I gave you a very roundabout answer to your question in that more data to come, and if there are places that we can't do heavy active recreation, then we can't do it. We'll have to find something else, I guess. So
could it possibly be designated as a walker only park? I'm sure a lot of people would appreciate that.
I think that's potential. We do, like I said, we already kind of have an active group that's already in there. So I don't completely saying that. I don't know if that's going to be possible, but absolutely, it's something we can discuss.
Add on a couple comments. You'll notice in the top left corner from this map is from 2018, and just above that it indicates these are draft park designations. So even at the time of their formation, this was just the initial planning phases. So there's more to come. We actually have some maps similar to this that have different colored marker and written things on here that indicate changes of uses in different corners of the park for different types of activities. Again, even that one is a later version of this one, but it is still in draft form. Those were just kind of concept ideas of where certain allowances for activities may take place. But you know, the planning effort here is intended to last, you know, it's going to last a full year. And we'll be working through, you know, what's allowable by designation of critical area and waterways and all sorts of things that really dictates certain types of activities are not allowed. And then what we're hearing from the community and how we may or may not be able to balance those as best we can. So more to come on this. It'll evolve. This is basically the starting point from where the last effort kind of ended or hit the pause button when COVID impacted the planning process and there was some staff turnover.
Lisa, if I could, I just want to also kind of discuss, Alex was right, 2018 was when this done. Recently, and part of the excitement that I have with this is that Arno is done with the thinning work that he needed to do out here. So basically this thing is ready for rehabilitation and those types of things. But, and this is the point that I want to kind of talk about that you're asking, at least some of the ground that I've walked on, for instance, the Square Lake Complex, if you look at that green square there, down at the bottom right, you'll see that heavier line that goes through the middle of it. That's actually the road. So there's a road that goes in between that property there to, it would be towards the bottom of the page, but if you're going up, the little triangle piece to the right there, that is a really high and dry piece. That is an upland area. There are no wetlands out there. So that's what I'm talking about as far as kind of the ground truthing. And obviously, before we do any type of development activity, there will be some sort of going out and looking and verifying wetland and those types of things. So that's the kind of ground truthing that I'm talking about that I need to really do, and I want to do with the ad hoc committee.
So you don't have a pointer, you can't point to that little triangle you're talking about where that actual lake is? A little, it looks like a lake. I don't know what it is, but in the green by the red?
No. I don't have a pointer. It is, so you see the square lake parcel there. You basically have squares. It's the bigger square to the right there. It's the actual square in the bottom right corner. There is no blue in there. It's all green. Can you see my pointer?
Yes.
Yes, that
It's
corner.
right here.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. That
All right.
corner right there.
Okay.
Sorry.
There are two questions from Joe in the chat.
I can't see it, so go ahead, Joe.
Aaron, used to looking at these maps using the park's landscape classification system. Are you going to migrate to that, which I think would facilitate both the planning and the conversations? And secondly, I was asking about the gray and green areas outside the park boundary, and those are acquisition target areas, I understand.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd use the designation target. They were just, at least back in 2018, the kind of hash marked gray areas were previously identified as quote unquote opportunity areas for acquisition or growth to add to the park for really the reasons, if you take a look at them, is for further protection of streams and watersheds that run through those. And there's
So-
3 primary ones on the map. Go ahead, someone else was talking, sorry.
I was just gonna ask, so there's actually a private parcel that's right in the center of the park? That's like surrounded by park?
No.
Well, there's the gray to the right, the lower section of the map to the right of the green line, there's like a green river running through.
Hey, Aaron, can you identify the solid black line that indicates the park property boundary? And trace it maybe with your pointer? That might help.
The gray areas are outside the park. The green designation is there's a creek that goes through there. So they've just identified the creek to show that there is always going to be a buffer zone around any water fish bearing stream, but it still is privately owned. My understanding from a couple years ago, that gray area is what they wanted to maybe in the future purchase, but it's not in the middle of the park. It's outside the park. The green designation makes it look like it might be part of the park, but it is just showing that there's water, fish bearing streams or waters that needs a buffer. Yeah.
Got it.
Okay. Any other questions, or Aaron, do you want to add anything? Did we lose Aaron again?
Yeah, I'm wondering if he stopped sharing his screen. We may have lost him. I'm not sure.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, there he is. Aaron, is there anything you'd like to add? Okay.
Aaron, if you're talking, we can't hear you.
Did we lose him again?
Yeah, I got a message saying he's lost connection. So
Okay. Should
bad
we
day
move-
for internet.
Okay, well, thank you, Aaron, for that report. That will be an ongoing project that we'll be speaking of at most meetings, I imagine. So let's move on to the Parks Director's report.
All right, thank you, Joanne.
Mhm.
On the hiring front, which is where I always have started off with since January of last year. And I am very hopeful that in the near future, I'll be able to pull this entire section off of my report because yes, we remain close to being done with hiring, and hopefully by the end of the year, we'll be fully staffed. Very unfortunately, we lost 3 folks since we last met due to a variety of reasons. Person moved outside of the area, another one took a different job, and so forth. So we have 2 office support specialists, an events coordinator, and 1 final M&O worker in our parks division to fill. So very close, but also since we last met, we hired 3 new people. So if you'll recall from previous renditions of this in past months, I had a notation on here where we were looking to potentially hire summer seasonal staff that we had working for us for parks maintenance and operations, as well as event support, to potentially hire them on as full-time staff when our season ended. We have hired 3 positions in this manner. So very happy to have filled 2 parks M&O worker positions and 1 event support. 2 of them just started last Monday, and the last one, the 3rd one, will start with us next Monday. And so that's super exciting. The other exciting thing is, I think I mentioned last time, our capital projects planner has been hired. I don't think I had an exact start date at that time. We do today. So as of November 14th, we will have a new person filling a critical role for our team as a capital projects planner. This person will be heading up all of our capital projects, hence the title. For our park system. A lot of those projects have been on hold for a number of years. So this is very exciting to have this person be joining us in less than a month. Super exciting. So that is the staffing front. Quick updates on said capital projects program. We still have some minor capital projects marching forward and a couple larger ones. And so I haven't had an update on the 3 capital projects happening at Port Gamble in a while. We have the ride park construction that's been happening over the last year, and we have 2 parking lot trailheads intended to be constructed. The permits for the 2 parking lots were submitted earlier this year. Those still remain in review. And so we don't have any timeline at this point for those moving forward. But fingers crossed, hopefully those permits see the light of day soon, and we'll be able to move into hiring contractors and get those access points complete. But so not really the point of mentioning this now is for those, but for the 3rd item, the ride park, during the summer months, Evergreen Mountain Biking Association is who we have on contract to construct the mountain biking ride park for the county in the dry summer months. Because the soils aren't quite right, they basically took a hiatus from construction. But now that we have rain and precipitation back in our forecast, they are back on the ground and will be working in the northern part of the park in the coming months with a target completion date by March of 2023, hopefully at the latest, March 23. So that project is back in motion. In our marketing and events program, quick note on 2022, the remaining calendar of events and rentals, we are fully booked out for community building rentals, pavilion use, President's Hall, and all the events that we host at the fairgrounds here. We have had to seal up the calendar for the remainder of the year. And are now kind of shifting focus to 2023. We are accepting applications and putting holds on calendars for 2023 bookings, but just kind of a notation that in comparison to where we were last year in 2021, to see that, you know, in a little over a year of events kind of turning back in a very unusual way as we were kind of our environments coming out of COVID. We are fully in the mix of very busy event season and rentals. By rentals, it's not just our events, but it is athletic fields, picnic shelters for 23, our community buildings, and all of the grounds here at the fairgrounds. So lots going on. I added a new section this month called Marketing and Communications. And for a little while, I've been wanting to kind of put an earmark on basically providing some information back to the advisory board about kind of our marketing efforts through social media and otherwise. And Chuck, who's here with us, is our marketing and communications coordinator. He is going to provide an update, but he just told me in his communications role that we might have a question before going into this because I wasn't paying attention to my screen. So sorry about that, Lisa. Why don't you go ahead and then we'll transition to Chuck.
Okay, thank you, Alex. I did have a couple questions. I was curious about the holdup on the permits. Is that because of CD or capital projects guy?
That is because I mean, I don't want to point fingers or anything, but that is a DCD. The permit for the southern parking lot off of Stottlemyre Road was submitted in January of 22, and the other permit was submitted in April of 2022. And we've kind of been in a holding pattern, waiting for the permits to get reviewed by the Community Development Department. And they have made it through a portion of their review, but have not fully gotten through all levels of review just yet.
Does that include Norman Road, the Norman Road parking lot, or is that part of that?
No, these are just the two parking lots at Port Gamble.
Okay, and what about the Porto toilets or the toilet situation? Is that included in that?
For Port Gamble?
For, I think.
North Kitsap?
North Kitsap wanted one, and I think Port Gamble desperately probably needs another one. And same with, yeah, I think there are three parks that really wanted to have at least a Porto toilet.
Right. So my comments earlier about the permits, those are specific to the two project areas at Port Gamble. One of those parking lots is receiving a restroom facility. All of our other capital projects that include improvements at North Kitsap parking lot, which also includes a restroom facility, those are currently on hold until we get the capital projects person hired. The reason that the capital projects for Port Gamble were able to move forward without this position was because the county hired a project manager who is not a county employee to facilitate that project moving forward. And they did that in end of 2019, early 2020. And then that entire project got put on hold because of COVID. And then it got resurrected at the end of 2020. And the project manager, who's David McBride, and has talked with this group through OAC Services, is helping to facilitate the three construction projects at Port Gamble, as well as the master plan. His firm is moving those forward. Does that help?
Well, I just also, Joanne had mentioned a Porto toilet at her park too. And I was just, those are quick things that can be done immediately. And it's just disturbing to see all the poop in the forest with the toilet paper everywhere and dogs eating it. It's just nasty.
So those are not quick things to move forward quickly. They require planning, engineering, permitting, hiring construction companies and so forth to undertake all of those items. All of our other CIP program has been put on hold, not even just for bathrooms and parking lot improvements, but for playgrounds, park restorations, improvements to our buildings, installing, HVAC units on the building I'm in right now, replacing the deck here. All of that has been put on hold for going on 3 years now, in large part because we've not had the staff in place to facilitate any of those projects. So the one that was able to move forward was because the county hired outside assistance to move it forward.
Okay, so a porta toilet takes a lot of permitting, just to have.
No, but permanent restrooms, which is what I'm referencing, require those.
Yeah, I was just
Portalets-
I was referencing the porta toilets, the quick ones that would just be.
Oh, sure. We have we got a portalet delivered to North Kitsap. We have had one at Port Gamble for a number of years, and we have them at other park site as well. We also recently had them delivered to parks where we have to close down restroom facilities during the winter for the fear of freezing pipes and accommodating weather changes.
Okay, thank you.
Right, thanks. Good questions. Chuck, you want to hop on here and talk about
Yep.
the bullet points I shared?
Can I ask a quick question?
Oh, sorry, Nancy. Yes.
Go ahead, Nancy.
Is Newberry on the list for bathroom facilities?
It is included into another parking lot improvement project. And that one is a bit more complicated because the access to the location where the parking lot was originally being planned for crosses fire district and school district property. So agreements with those entities need to be worked out before we're able to move into a construction phase for that particular one. But
What about
that is on our CIP plan, and in all honesty, it has been on the CIP plan for a while and definitely needs some attention.
what about a temporary solution?
It's a possibility. Again, we have challenges with Newberry because of we don't have an official parking lot on one end because it's the roadway that goes into the school. At the other end, we might be able to put one there at the roundabout where there's a little bit more space. But we can explore that with the stewardship group.
I was thinking there might be space where the dog station, if you will, where the bags and the garbage cans for the dog waste are. It's inside the gate, just inside the gate.
I'm not familiar with that particular spot.
Well, come in from the roundabout.
From
There's
the
a-
roundabout. Okay. Yeah.
When on the right, after you pass the gate, there's garbage cans and dog bags there. And it seems like maybe that might not be a bad space to have a portable.
We can have a conversation with the stewardship group at Newberry about that as a possibility, but I'm open.
Thank you.
All right, Chuck.
Great, yeah. I just want to say thank you to all honorable PAB members. It's just amazing to have you so passionate for our parks. It's really cool. I'll definitely keep it brief for the respect of your time and everyone's time. Parks and Rec is fun and inspiring world to live in, live, work, and play in. And you're the driving force behind that. So we're here to support you. But one thing is I've learned in the 7 months, there's been a lot. Kitsap is huge. And to figure out all the moving pieces and what we need to communicate when has been great. And that's just due to the great team we have. So I'll go into a brief recap of kind of what we've been having going on in the last, I don't know, couple month or so, give or take. Some things are ongoing and some things we'll revisit as well. As Aaron mentioned, the Coulter Creek meeting was publicized to approximately 7,000 recipients in our email database system. So those are people that have actively registered or subscribed to our Gov Delivery email system twice prior to the event, and that's pretty standard, and via email, and then also as well as social media. So we had obviously, I think, a very, very good turnout for a first in-person meeting. I think, Alex, I'm not sure, the last one was probably predates my tenure here, but I think for our first in-person meeting like that, it was really well received. As it's noted, our social media engagements up overall, and that's in great thanks to our volunteer area. I mean, they're just so passionate and do such great work, and it really resonates with the community, I think. Those have been the most engaging posts that we've had so far, and thank you to the Natural Resources Department team for providing that information. I probably bored Alex W to tears with analytics over social media, but it's been really engaging, and people are really liking just us promoting the parks and getting outdoors and doing what we need to do to stay active and healthy, and also give back to our community. So we're always including links to our volunteer page and things like that for people to engage. We are working, as it was mentioned in the past, advisory board meetings, I think the past two, a schedule for large park and facility impacted events. So those are like the mountain biking events. We have Veterans Day coming up. The Salmon Park tour, the Salmon tours are coming up as well. So we'll figure out a good way to present those on the website. You can probably look forward to that middle of this month. We're almost to the middle, so I hope we can meet that goal. But if not, into the month, we'll have a good list of facility impacted events. And that being said, it's also credit to Rec Desk and that platform. It's been an amazing platform to work with. I think it's made all of our lives much more simple and just streamlined. We're working on some educational and interpretive graphics and messaging. They're being created to improve our public messaging of restorative thinning, that these areas just, and I've had to be educated, so I feel like it worked out really well. Like, I come from a programming area, so we're talking flag football, baseball, with a lesser percentage of the natural resources. So it's been great to actually learn it and absorb it, and then be able to redistribute that to our community. So you can look forward to more communication on what restorative thinning looks like, and just reaching all demographics. So it's easily understandable, and that we're all searching for a really obtainable goal of restoration of these areas that once didn't support the habitat or culture that they need as far as the environment goes. You can also look forward to, if you're part of the steward groups, hopefully if you receive some distribution or information emails about the volunteer recognition event, that'll be coming up here soon. I believe November, I'm just looking at it now, 9th, yep, November 9th. So look forward to that. It's a great event. We'd love to have you there just to represent the advisory board. And my role is just the communications part of that. And I'll be emceeing, if you will, that event. So hopefully you can tolerate that for a minute or two, but then I'll be passing it on to other people. But one cool thing is we do have a photographer that's under contract that will take still images and videos of select parks. So, and that'll include our rental facilities. So that'll be really cool to promote in conjunction with our Rec Desk platform and getting people to utilize that online system, but also just show all the great things that Kitsap County has to offer. Like, as I said, it's a really vast county, and we have so much to showcase. So I'm really excited to get some new media stored in our database for a packet to distribute to everybody, and really promote those on social media, presentations, areas that are looking at restorative thinning, so on and so forth. But we'll use the next couple months to develop a firm communication plan moving into 2023. I definitely look forward to what's in store for the future and welcome any feedback. And I hope I didn't talk too fast, but I was trying to just be cognizant of our time. So thank you. I can go ahead and call on the questions if that's okay. Just on the basis of my screen right now, I have Amy Lawrence. If you could go ahead.
Hi, Chuck. Yeah, thank you. You've already helped out a lot with some of the Chico Salmon Park stuff, so thank you for what you've done so far, and it's great to have you around. I'm just curious if your role extends to like interpretive signage at the parks, so design of like things that go up at the parks, not just virtual stuff. I was just curious how that works out, because we're trying to develop some new signage and material post restoration at the park, and I know it's probably wrapped up in maybe some of the contracting stuff and maybe not your area. I was just kind of curious how that part worked.
Yeah, definitely my area. So, you know, I don't necessarily design it in-house. Anything I can do in-house, I will, of course, but otherwise we'll contract it out. So if there's a request that you're looking for, be it relative to, of course, we'll have to divide it up into different sub-departments of our parks department, right? So natural resources, maybe run it by them. And then if it's in maintenance and operations, run it by Brian. He's amazing. So just depending on the category. Otherwise, I'm also happy to take an email and bring it to the team and discuss it. So, but yeah, I'd be your quote unquote point person if we were looking at establishing something. But ultimately, Alex has the final say. So, but I'm a champion for everybody. So
got it. Okay, that's helpful. Thank you.
And then Nancy, did you have a question as well?
Yes. You mentioned having events listed on the webpage or the social media. We do have an event coming up in Newberry Hill, a turkey trot on Thanksgiving Day. Last year, that was very successful. It raised over $10,000 to go towards feeding the needy in Kitsap County. And so if you have a place for that, we've got it on social media through the Rotary Club. But if somehow we could get that on the park social media, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, I'd be more than happy to share that. I love a good turkey trot myself, although I probably need to do more since COVID and all those things. So, but yeah, if we're actually working on an external marketing form, so we can send those out to the events that are booked and they can make a request. We've had something like that similar in the past. We're just working on a more streamlined method. But if it's okay, I'll drop my email in the chat for anybody that wants it. And we'll go for there. We can also utilize our reader board that's at the fairgrounds as well to help promote any event that we would like and fits our like-minded needs. So
that would be awesome.
Great. I'll drop that in here right afterward. Okay.
Thank you.
Were there any other questions that I can take to help answer or pass them on to Alex if I can't? No? Okay, I'll go ahead and just pass the conversation back on to you, Alex. Thank you for the opportunity.
Yeah, thanks, Chuck. Really appreciate it. And Amy, I'm on full board with interpretive signs in our parks. I think it's something that's not just at Chico Salmon, but at other locations where an effort that we're lacking and that we could do a much better job in terms of providing on-site outdoor education opportunities for folks who are out in our forests and experiencing, experiencing our parks and the natural environment. So something that we kind of recognize as a group here at Parks and looking to improve upon. Let's see. Last item, I wanted to draw.
Quick
Sorry.
question on that.
Sorry, Lisa, go ahead.
Sorry, Alex, just a real quick question. For the interpretive signs, who would maintain those? Because I noticed there's some out at Beaver Pond on Port Gamble Forest Heritage Park, and they're just disgusting. You know, they're covered in mildew and mold and stuff, and nobody cleans them. I've been tempted to bring a spray bottle of cleaner and rags myself and clean them off. So I'm curious who's going to maintain those signs once they get put in, if they do.
Well, it would depend on where they're at, and I mean, ultimately, if the county and Parks Department owns it, it would fall to us to maintain them. And then the question becomes, okay, how do we do that? Do we do that with, volunteers, stewardship groups? Do we do that with our own staff, et cetera, et cetera? So I believe the interpretive sign. Well, I don't want to speak out of the side of my mouth here. I was going to say we may have inherited those that are there when we acquired the property, but I'm not honestly certain that that's accurate. Those may have been ones that the Parks Department put in previously. And if they are indeed in bad shape, then we'll let staff know and we'll get out there and tend to them either with the stewardship group or with staff.
Okay.
So thanks for that.
Sure.
The last item I wanted to talk about actually was just a quick update on Port Gamble. So good segue. And this is not really similar, but kind of adding on to the comments that Beverly mentioned earlier, in that the non-project SEPA review has concluded. DCD wrote their responses or made their recommendation, went through a public comment period that closed on Monday. The original intention was that it was going to go before the county commissioners this coming Monday on the 24th. But due to the comments received and the quick turnaround time, that just staff and the commissioners don't feel that it is enough time to process the comments and provide responses back. So we are looking to postpone that meeting until November 28th to bring it back to the commissioners. And so while that decision was literally made this morning, the item still exists on the commissioner's agenda. And so just kind of making it publicly known that it is too late for us to remove something from their agenda. So while it will be there, there will basically be recognition at the county commissioner meeting that any type of review of those comments and response by the commissioners to the proposed plan won't occur until, will be postponed till the end of November. Lisa.
Thanks. One more question. Beverly mentioned something about sending letters to the Park Advisory Board. I never received the letter that was supposedly sent. Do we get those letters if they're addressed to us?
Not, so it obviously doesn't, your emails are not synced up for direct email. It came through on Tuesday and we can certainly forward that. I'd have to go back and look at it and I can do that. But yeah, have not done that yet.
I mean, personally, for a Park Advisory Board member, the only way I can find out anything about the parks is if I go to the meetings for each individual park. And so if they have concerns that, if I miss a meeting, which I've missed several for different parks, I just don't know what the concerns are. And so if people are actually sending concerns, it seems like that would be something for us to be able to, it would help if we could read them.
Sure. Yeah, we do have I believe, Chuck, correct me if I'm wrong, a separate email set up for the Parks Advisory Board to capture comments and emails that come in to direct to the advisory board. And is that accurate, Chuck?
Yeah, that is accurate. We've actually posted it under the written comments section on the advisory board part of our website, or the page on our website. And that email address, and I'll drop that in the chat as well. That's going to be parksboard, one word for the email, at kitsap.gov. So that's parksboard@kitsap.gov. And again, I'll drop it in the chat. It's on that page of the website. It is actively monitored. So we'll go back and review that in case something was sent over, of course, but I do check it daily and give ourselves like a 48-hour window to respond to people, just so that we can make sure that we understand all the information. So
and then you would send that then to the Park Advisory Board?
I'd send that to Dee and Alex, and just to make sure that all the information was correct, just to review, locations, if there's a location update, just information in general to provide context, because sometimes they could be short and sweet, if you will. So we make sure that those are just vetted and sent to Alex and Dee, who will then send them on to you. So
okay, then it will be okay. It's all right.
Yeah, just for the process and making sure spam and all those things get filtered.
Yeah.
So
great, thank you. I'd appreciate it because it'd be interesting to read.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay, thank you.
All right, and then the very last item I wanted to share tonight were I'm going to share my screen real quick. All right, some photos of various projects that were managed with our volunteer coordinators through our natural resources program. And just some, not everything that's happened in the last month, but some highlights to share forward. We had 38 work parties in September, which I believe is a record. I believe the month prior to that, we were sitting at 34, 35. We hit 38 in September, which brings us to a grand total of 204, I believe, on year to date for the year. So a significant amount of efforts and activity that gets routed through volunteer efforts and translates into activity, maintenance, and efforts in the parks. On the screen before you is a recent visiting by the Washington Youth Academy to Howe Farm. They did invasive non-native weed removal, and they also did some work on our new ADA trail that has been installed periodically over the last couple months. The trail is completed now, but these pictures represent the most recent visit from them. And of course, we invited Commissioner Garrido to come out and share some thoughts and words with the group. Earlier in the year, we also had Washington Youth Academy, but a different group of folks from that school visit South Kitsap Regional Park, and they were focused on Scotch broom removal, really kind of in the center of the park area where there's a disturbed area, and obviously that's where we get a lot of Scotch broom, and some pictures from that effort. Staff installed a fence at Chico Salmon Park. By staff, I mean Sam sitting there in the corner. I know others were involved, and Amy, please forgive me if you and other volunteers were involved too. I actually don't have a lot of detail on this particular project, but this is basically an effort to tell humans, we want you to stay on one side of the fence and to protect the other. Banner Forest Heritage Park. We have you will notice, and Larry will be super familiar with this, picture on the right-hand side here and a picture on the left-hand side here. These are kind of pre-pictures of wet areas along the Banner Slough Trail that runs through the park in a notoriously wet section in the winter months. And during our dry summer season, we led efforts engaging with our stewardship groups there, volunteers, as well as I believe some of these photos are showing from recent visits by Washington Trails Association to construct a turnpike that basically is a constructed earthen trail that gets elevated above the water so that we allow safe access through the wet areas in the winter and to minimize impacts by foot travel. And so the couple slides here show the work and the efforts by everybody involved. There was also some brush clearing, as you'll see in the bottom left here, to open up trail corridors. And then lastly, this just some pictures to share from Monday's public meeting about Coulter Creek Heritage Park Master Plan. This is kind of the re-emergence of the plan, the re-kickoff of this effort that basically started with a sharing back of, like Aaron mentioned, where we've been, where the plan effort stopped, kind of what's changed. One of those big things is that we now have acquired Square Lake and in incorporating that into the planning effort, whereas before we didn't have it, and then how we are intending to move forward. So exciting stuff. You'll see the middle picture here is Sam Holworth, who's one of our natural resources coordinators. And basically, this is one of our few parks, and specifically heritage parks, that does not currently have a stewardship group. So he is talking about stewardship groups and putting out the ask to the community to gain some interest and start to formalize a group so that we can begin work on maintaining and putting forth effort into Coulter Creek, just as we do in a lot of our other parks. So, and with that, I will stop here. And that concludes my director's report presentation. And I see that there are maybe some questions in the chat. And certainly open to other comments. Amy, your hand is up. Why don't you go ahead and ask while I take a look at the comments.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I appreciate a lot seeing all those pictures of what's going on and in other parks. I mean, we hear about it in words, but the pictures were really nice, so thank you. My other question is the volunteer event. This is sort of related, but the volunteer event on the 9th that was mentioned earlier, is that the same meeting where all the volunteer stewardship groups come together and kind of share out what they're doing? Or is that a different meeting?
No.
It's been so long.
Yeah, this is a volunteer recognition celebration event.
Okay.
In which we are inviting all of the volunteers from the different stewardship groups and other groups who also volunteer for Kitsap County Parks to come join us for, I believe it's a 2-hour evening to share back about projects and to celebrate the efforts of the volunteers. We have some awards we'll be giving out and other items like that.
There used to be an event where we kind of collaborated as stewardship groups about what we were doing and challenges we had. And I found it really helpful because I was just thinking of how you're trying to recruit a stewardship group for Coulter Creek, just to hear what other groups are doing. If you're not familiar with how the groups run or how they work, it might be daunting to think you're starting this group from scratch when there's a lot of, institutional knowledge from the groups of volunteers that we have. So just a thought that might be something, or at least connecting volunteers in that area with other volunteer stewardship groups would be maybe helpful in coordinating that group.
No, that's a great idea, Amy.
Sorry.
Go ahead, Sierra.
Would love to jump in and talk about this a little more. Amy, we are definitely thinking about that with volunteers next year, hoping to have an event where we can have more of a meeting and touch base. But this event actually was prompted because a lot of volunteers are coming out of COVID and really wanting to celebrate all of their achievements that have been done throughout the pandemic times and now. And so this is a celebratory and an event that can help everyone get on the same page as well, but it's really succinct. It's only 2 hours. So I put my, I can put my email in the chat, and I think you already have it, but I can share the RSVP form that we're asking everyone to fill out, and that'll secure a spot for you and anyone who's interested.
I didn't know there was one. Okay, great.
Yeah.
Okay.
I can email it to you if it's easier.
Whatever, either one's fine. I'll find it. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks.
I was just going to say that I believe, I can't remember what the lady's name was. It's the volunteer meeting went away about 4 or 5 years ago when they started having pretty good turnover in the volunteer coordinators. So yeah, they were pretty well attended and they were a lot of fun.
Lori Raymaker, I believe, was
Yes,
the
Lori.
previous coordinator who was.
And it just, after she left, it just kind of went away, so.
Yeah, doing our best to resurrect those very, very important efforts. Amy, I really like the idea of, an opportunity to collaborate kind of in a roundtable environment for volunteers to talk through what they're experiencing and doing in their parks, and basically a collaborative effort to learn from each other. It's great. Any other comments or questions about what I presented, either verbally or in writing? Not seeing any. Joanne, you're muted.
Okay, it must automatically mute me. Anyway, so hearing none, and do you see any in the comments, Alex, before we move on?
I didn't. Those were information that Chuck posted for the
Okay,
the
great.
members to view.
And the next agenda item was subcommittee meetings, and that was tentative. Was there any meetings this month?
No. I wanted this on here just as kind of another reminder that we'll be scheduling these. The one that kind of got away from me was the volunteer handbook. Actually, that is ready for the group to come together. Well, we're only 10/19. Maybe we can pull something together in October. Otherwise, this might slip to early November. But the other meeting dates, I think, are appropriate without knowing specific dates, because we'll be coordinating that with each of you, and we'll make that work. But yeah, good stuff coming up. We're starting to work on our CIP update. Budget review still kind of lives downtown at this moment in the finance department and the budget department, and going through their reviews. And then obviously we talked tonight about Coulter Creek, and really that was the kickoff meeting. Nothing's happened yet, but once things start rolling, we'll certainly want to engage in the subcommittee to provide kind of a focus grouped effort for input to then bring back to the greater advisory board. So good stuff coming up. Just kind of a reminder, which is why I wanted to keep it on here. And Joanne, if you're okay me going into the next item too, this
Yes.
one I wanted to have, I mentioned this last month, but wanted to bring it up again. Staff has been given some direction by the commissioners to start to move our advisory board and other committee meetings into an in-person environment in a hybrid setting. And what I mean by those confusing words being put together is they're looking to get the committee or the board members together in person, but offer hybrid access opportunity to participate to others in the community, so that there is opportunity for the board members to be in a room together, and people can come and participate in person, but it also keeps the access open and available to the community in a Zoom environment or a virtual environment at the same time. Actually, our Coulter Creek meeting was done in this fashion. We had 40 plus people on the virtual call. They didn't generate any questions, but we have that capability now. The department wasn't set up for this previously. We had to purchase a bunch of equipment, but we're good to go now. And so wanted to entertain a conversation, concerns, questions, and Lisa, I see your hand up. So.
Yeah, thanks. I would have gone to that Coulter Creek meeting if I had the Zoom link. I couldn't find it, so I assumed it was only. So that would be something to get out to the people, or any people that might want to participate that couldn't make it. I could not make it down there, so
yeah, sorry about that.
Oh well, But yeah, it would have been great, but I didn't have the link and I didn't know how to get it. So yeah,
That's-
maybe on the agendas like they were talking about earlier, you know, making sure it's easier to get to, because sometimes you're, you know, rushing to get to the meeting and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, there's no Zoom link. Then you got to go to the website and find the link and, you know, get all that. So
Yeah, typically we you know, post those right on the homepage of our website. So there should be fairly easy. I mean, I
Okay.
will definitely say the layout and the presentation of our website is not super user friendly. It's very wordy and hard to find things. I completely get that. We don't have a whole lot of control over that part of it. It's just we're a small piece. We're in the greater pond of the county, and so we're bound to that. But yeah, we'll try and do a better job of highlighting how people can access the meeting, especially virtually, for our meetings.
yeah, because even if it had said that this is available on Zoom, go to the website, the Kitsap County website, and find it under Coulter Creek. I could have done that, but I thought it wasn't even, I didn't even know it was an option that it was a Zoom call. So just saying.
Sure. Yeah.
Thank you.
Chuck?
So you don't mind, just to note that, yeah, it was, we didn't include in the email, we were shifting to hybrid. We had a shipment coming a little bit late for the equipment. It was posted to the website after the fact of the emails going out, but in the future, when we're doing these hybrid meetings, I can guarantee you we'll include a link in there. So I'm sorry, Lisa, that was the full intention at the time, but due to just shipping schedules and things like that, we weren't quite able to get it in the email on time. So we'll make sure in the future that happens.
Thanks.
And Chuck, just so you know, used to be when Alex wasn't doing all of this stuff, now he has more full staff. Lee Snyder used to include a link on the agenda page to where we could just go and hit it and it would take us right to the Zoom meeting and everything we needed was right on this, which is.
We have that set up actually at this point from this meeting forward. It should be the same link even that you go
Okay.
to every single time. It's a recurring meeting, so we should be set up for success
Right.
moving forward. Just a matter of combining forces and getting everybody on the same page. So so I appreciate your patience, and we will move forward in a onward and upward, as they say. So
Good to know. And just as an FYI, at the meeting last night, I haven't seen, well, I'd never met Alex in person or any of these because it's been such a change in the last 2 years. And seeing John for the first time in 2 years was wonderful. So I know there are times when we can't get somewhere due to traffic or schedules or something, but the in-person, I think, is very important to get back to. Just as humans and as people interacting with each other. But the opportunity to able to Zoom in if you are out of town or unable to get there is a great option. But I really agree with getting back to in-person meetings. That's my opinion. Anyone else have objections to going back to the, I mean, we're kind of being directed to go back to in-person meetings. So what does everyone think about that?
I like the idea.
Me
Thank
too.
you.
I like it.
Me too. Yeah.
Amy? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So I don't know, going forward, Alex, do we just, are we gonna still do the south end, central and north end and the rotating link? Is that's what we did do? We did some at Eagles Nest, we did some at Long Lake. We have done one clear up as far as Hansville at that place. So that's how it used to work. You know, not saying it has to work that way, but I don't know how everyone feels at work, what you direct to where we need.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Thank you for bringing that up. So the intention for November is to host it at the Eagle's Nest here at the fairgrounds. The one thing I do like about the fairgrounds is it's about as centrally located as we have for locations that we have control over for meetings. I know that in the past, the intention of rotating up to the north end and the south end of the county was to provide opportunity for folks in those regions to participate and come to the meetings in person. And of course, at that time, there was no virtual or hybrid opportunity. So I'm definitely open to moving the meeting around to different locations. But I do know that it can present a travel challenge for folks at opposite ends of the county, whereas and maybe this is part of the discussion we can have in November is, do we look to just stay in a central location, or do we look to bounce around a little bit? I haven't really wrapped my head around that, but I think initially we'll just start centrally located and kind of see how it goes.
Yeah, I think one thing good about that, Alex, is that you would have all your equipment there and you have a good internet, reception. So moving it around might be present a bit of a problem for that.
Really good point, because we did have some challenging internet connections down at Long Lake on Monday. We were able to, we recorded the meeting and everything so that we can have it available to folks, but the quality wasn't so great, and it was because the internet connection was not so great, which speaks to the need of internet in some of our facilities. That's one of the improvements we need to look to do at some point in the future. But you are right on. We have good internet here at the fairgrounds. Eagle's Nest is easy. It is straight upstairs from our parks offices, and hopefully somewhat centrally located for folks traveling.
Well, for me to go to Hansville, say, they had terrible internet. So that's
still
not
do.
want to talk about hybrid meetings. And it's an hour, good hour from where I live. I'm the very southern end of Kitsap County. I mean, and so it's an hour at night in the dark, in the rain and stuff like that. And so halfway in between works for me. And I know people that live in central Kitsap, it would be easier for them, but it would also be easier for the North Kitsap people to come to a center. And I don't mind driving 30 minutes. That's what it takes me to get to the Eagle's Nest. And I'm sure somebody up north is going to be about the same versus an hour, So, and with the capability that we're going to be going with the public hybrid, we have to have good internet no matter where we go if we're going to go forward with that. So that's my opinion. I don't know if anybody else has an objection to having the Eagle's Nest being our main source, and maybe, if we have a meeting differently, maybe as an exception. I don't know. Anybody have an opinion?
We can put together some ideas for different ways to approach the meetings, and we can present them back to the advisory board in November for discussion and see where we land.
Okay. So for now, the November meeting will be at the Eagle's Nest.
At the Eagle's Nest, yes.
Okay. All right. Okay, so moving on, if everyone is agreeing with that, we have subcommittee reports, and have we had any meetings? No. Okay, so is there any old business? My old business was a steward's handbook update and you have already kind of talked about that. Okay, so my only other old business would be I talked to Sam. I met him for the first time in person at the meeting last night. And those signs at the Olalla boat launch, can we do something with that?
Yeah, Brian and I have had a chat about that, and we're investigating changing those signs to say something more broad, like park use only or parking only or something like that. So it's not identifying a specific location for boat trailers like you indicated, because inadvertently we are, driving parking into a configuration that, isn't as efficient.
Right. Well,
So-
those signs could still be used, or a couple of them, where they normally were traditionally, they have parked by the telephone pole there, where there's right there is where most traditionally they've parked, trailers. So having one there will still indicate to people that they need to park there. And then people with smaller boats, kayaks, and families can still park along the edges, to where with the trailers, they just block the whole thing. So anyway, I appreciate that. And the parking lot at Anderson Point, where are we at with that?
It's on our CIP plan and will be looked at as part of the CIP update when over the course of the next couple months, because our CIP plan for we do an annual update to it, and it's one of the projects that's been on there along with a whole ton of other ones that needs some attention.
So it's no longer in DCD or whoever was supposed to be permitting it and doing it?
No. So what you actually kind of drew our attention to was that previously the Parks Department and Public Works were working together to do this. Since COVID and the loss of staff and everything, re-engage with Public Works and asked them about that. They did have some recollection about it. And basically the way that was going to function was Parks Department was going to pay Public Works to do the work. So it certainly wasn't a freebie because we were all county. We still had to do that. And we still could, but they have kind of told us to, please hire that out because they're so low on staff that they can't manage it right now anyway. So once we get Matt Oxford, the capital projects planner, on board, actually before he gets on board, we're going to start to look at our CIP plan. And that is one of those projects that's probably a lighter and easier lift for us to get done fairly quickly. So we'll be looking to, kind of replan that CIP effort and have that one near the front of the list.
Okay, because it's, yeah, there's still giant stumps and, and the alders are growing, the alders are 20 feet tall.
No, we're well
Yeah.
aware.
Yeah.
It was a partial project that got partially done and then got shut down when, our world got turned upside down.
Okay, all righty. Next, any new business? Seeing no new business, I need a motion for adjournment. Larry, motions for adjournment.
Second.
Amy, second? Is that, I want to make sure. Amy, you
I
seconded
could
it?
not, but I can.
Nancy, I was the one that did, but
Oh, Nancy,
either
I'm
way,
sorry.
either way.
Her screen flickered, so I wasn't sure. Okay. Well, thank you everyone for your input and your attention tonight and all the information. Good
Have a good night.
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 Bye.